Welcome back to the Dragon Den. My loyal Dragonites. King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Jada Toys Paulmart exclusive Street Fighter 2 Ryu. But before we have a look at the figure, let's take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Gundamit. Today's video is sponsored by Gundamit.com. Whether you're in the market for the latest action figure or pre-ordering the next big ticket item, Gundamit has you covered. If you're in the neighborhood of expanding your collection, check out Gundamit.com with a link in the description of this video. So here we have Ryu posing out of the packaging, but before we have a look at the figure, let's run through his accessories. Ryu does come with two different head sculpts, two pairs of hands, and his Hadouken effect. Other than that, Ryu doesn't come with any other accessories, so with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at his details. So here we have a look at Ryu in his Player 2 costume and done by Jada Toys. Essentially, it's the exact same Ryu we've had a look at with some subtle paint differences. Taking a look at his head sculpt, it's the exact same head that we saw with the previous Ryu figure, however he's wearing a blue headband this time. Just like with the previous figure, his eyebrows are going over his headband, which is signature trait of Ryu. And his hair tufts do go over his headband, which is a nice detail. Ryu is wearing his traditional gi, which is done in this nice blue-gray color. Exact same sculpt that we saw with Ryu and Evil Ryu, so there's nothing new here. The texturing is still really nice on the gi, and I will give it credit on that. They did, however, change up his skin color, which is a really nice detail. This Ryu does have a lighter skin tone, and I love the shading throughout his muscles. It's the exact same sculpt work that we saw with that previous figure, so there's nothing new to talk about. His arms are still really muscular and they look nice, especially with the shading throughout his biceps and triceps. And he is wearing his karate gloves done in the traditional brown for Ryu. He's still wearing a black belt with some characters on the tassel, which does look nice. And just like with before, the gi does drape below his waist. His pants are the exact same sculpt with that really nice texturing and the torn pant legs. And there is some subtle shading throughout the folds and wrinkles of his gi. And because it is Ryu, he doesn't have any footwear, and you can see that it does carry over that same impressive skin tone with a nice shading. So overall, same figure that we had a look at previously, just done in his Player 2 color scheme. With his details out of the way, let's compare him to our usual suspects. Here we have Ryu posed next to Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman. Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 112 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. The Lightning Collection White Ranger and Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally we have him posed next to the Jada Toys Ryu and Evil Ryu. So if you had that previous Ryu, you know how he scales with other toy lines, so with that out of the way, let's move on to his articulation. Ryu has a double ball joint in the head and a ball joint in the neck. Butterfly joints at his shoulders. Arms go out to the side and do a full 360. Swivel at his bicep and double jointed elbow. Hinge and swivel at his wrist. Ball joints in his upper torso and in his lower torso. Legs go forward, kick back, go out to the side, and have a thigh swivel. Double bend in his knee. Swivel at his ankle, a hinge in the ankle, and forward facing pin for rocker ankle. So Ryu will have the exact same articulation scheme that we saw on those initial figures, so there's really nothing new to talk about. With everything said and done, let's get Ryu posed for my final thoughts. The Jada Toys Paulmart exclusive Ryu is a pretty good figure, and I do like the palette swap here. I love the fact that the skin tone is very different from that previous figure, and I love the color of the gi that they went with. The blue headband is a nice touch, and I really like what this figure has going on for it. However, it's still that exact same Ryu figure that we saw, so everything that I said about that previous figure carries over here. But honestly, I think the skin tone on this figure works better than that original Ryu, so I think I like the skin tone on him a little bit better. And he has solid paint apps on his torso, which is amazing. I love the shading throughout his musculature. He's not an essential piece for every collection, and being a Player 2 color scheme, he's optional in your collection. If you're a fan of fighting game palette swaps, this is a figure that you're absolutely going to love in your collection. And before we wrap up this video, let's take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Gundamit. Gundamit has a huge selection of action figures, collectibles, and model kits, and if you want to take a look at their catalog, there is a link in my description. So with that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out all my other action figure videos. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my fellow Dragonites coming from the Dragon Den, I'm King of Dragons 5000 reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.